Sup everybody, Super King Adore here, and as you can tell by the title, I'm here to talk about dinosaurs. Well, kinda more like their horrific and painful demise. I came across this video in my recommended because I was looking up information on asteroids. Now why was I looking up information on asteroids, you ask? Because I was watching Greenland with my girlfriend, which was about an asteroid around the size of the one that killed the dinosaurs, hitting the Earth, but with people this time. Thus, this prompted my obsessed search of everything asteroid related. It's a really good movie, even though I have some questions about the ending. I suggest you check it out when you have some downtime. Okay, so as this name suggests, this documentary focuses on the day the universe decided to hit Control-Alt-Delete on the dinosaurs. Now, I know this topic has been covered several times in other media and books, but to my knowledge, this is one of the more recent works on the subject, coming out over a decade ago in 2010. It starts rather lighthearted, focusing on a quest looking for some breakfast, which it finds in the form of Day 1 Rex hatchlings. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you feel, the quest's breakfast is interrupted by the father coming back to do some actual parenting. Now, what I liked about the scenes following this were some of the dinosaurs' designs. For 2010, they were really well done, and in my opinion, especially the T-Rex, which is always nice to see in a different form when I'm usually used to seeing the Jurassic variant for the majority of my life. I also enjoyed the fight between the two trikes, especially the unique way they locked horns. We even get Coronosaurus, which is basically just a Mongolian version of Parasaurolophus. Now, it doesn't take long for the star of the show to make an appearance. The asteroid in question is actually called Chicxulub, and it is named after the area it impacted in what would have been modern-day Gulf of Mexico. Now, Chicxulub was around 6 to 9 miles in diameter, which, if you convert that into kilometers, is about 10 to 15 kilometers. Now, if we use this video by Metaball Studios as a reference, the asteroid Apophis, with estimated collision dates of 2029, 2036, or 2068 respectively, is only the size of the Eiffel Tower, coming in at 370 meters. Terrifying, right? Well, Chicxulub sat between these two lovely buttes right here, Phaethon and Eros. With sizes like these, it's actually hard to believe they can get any bigger or deadlier, right? Well, watch the rest of this video and find out. The link for this video will be down in the description. Now, my issue here is with the speed that they said the asteroid was traveling at. In the documentary, it got ejected from the asteroid belt. You know, the one that sits between Mars and Jupiter? The collision that ejected Chicxulub from the asteroid belt must not have been great, because the documentary stated it took 100 million years for it to reach Earth. Seriously, 100 million years. Now, with our current technology, it would take us approximately 18 months, and it took the Voyager 1 only 96 days to reach the asteroid belt from Earth. While I doubt that it actually took that long, I have to remember that this was made back in 2010, so estimates vary. Okay, so Chicxulub ends up hitting the Earth with a maximum speed of 72,000 miles or kilometers an hour. And it's just in time to ruin the day of a herd of Alamosaurus who are constantly on the hunt for food. These guys are so hungry that they literally just shit out their babies and keep it moving. And people said the Rex had bad parenting skills. Now, as you can imagine, the shit hits the fan, giving the Alamosaurus a front row seat of what's to come. For me, this is where the movie picks up. Growing up, I've always wondered exactly how the asteroid affected the planet and everything around it. Like, I'm familiar with the immediate effects, like the shock waves and such. But this movie went out of its way to describe and show you how the first 5 minutes went down. The Alamosaurus were pelted and crushed by boulders from the impact site. They even had their skin ripped off by the intense winds and were thrown around like a newborn baby playing with toys. To give some emphasis of how strong Chicxulub was in this movie, the asteroid landed in the Gulf of Mexico, around the Yucatan Peninsula. The water in the Gulf of Mexico is stated to have an average depth of 5,200 feet, or about 1,600 meters, which is barely a mile. It has areas that are deeper that reach an estimate of 2,800 meters, or around 9,200 feet deep. The movie also states that Alamosaurus were 800 kilometers or almost 500 miles from the impact zone. I went ahead and did a little research. New Mexico, on average, is about 1,138 miles from the Gulf of Mexico, which is over 1,800 kilometers from said Gulf. That's twice the distance the movie stated. The Alamosaurus would have had to have been in Texas, roughly around San Antonio, to be within the 800 mile impact zone. Alamosaurus was discovered in San Juan, New Mexico, which is 1,318 miles or 2121 kilometers away from said impact zone, almost 3 times as far as originally stated by the documentary. Putting that into perspective, the angle, trajectory, and speed of the asteroid was so great that when it hit the planet, anything near the impact zone was instantly vaporized. Fish, animals, the water, which at 5,200 feet or less is shallow for an asteroid that size, as it's only a mile deep at that point. And remember, Chicxulub is about 6 miles or so across. This allowed the asteroid to, as the movie put it,
ring the planet like a bell
and send shockwaves running throughout it. The wind speeds generated from this exceeded over 1,000 kilometers per hour, allowing it to reach places like New Mexico in a matter of minutes. And that was only the first of many disasters to come. The thing that I think I appreciated the most about the whole scenario of the movie is the animals' behaviors. There were 2 scenes that got me. The first was with Coronosaurus, who alongside her herd and a pair of ravenous ornithoides, hope I said that right, they had just survived a heat wave from the ejecta cloud by hiding in a cave. Little did they know that the danger was far from over. As the other dinosaurs leave the cave, one Coronosaurus stays behind. It's almost like she knew there was something wrong and had a wait and see kind of moment. Turns out she was right. Not even 10 minutes after the others left, a giant sandstorm rolls in, brought about from the rising heat from said ejecta cloud, and quickly kills off the other dinosaurs, burying and suffocating them with hot sand, and this was only 45 minutes after the impact. The other moment comes 4 days after the impact around the coast of British Columbia. Here, there are 4 Triceratops who have been desperately searching for food, since the valley they stayed in had not only been ravaged by an 11.1 earthquake, but also caught fire and burned down courtesy of the ejecta cloud. Man, this thing is an absolute dick. So, the 4 Triceratops reach the coast and see an island that has miraculously survived the ravaging of the planet. Now obviously, they're hungry, but have no way of getting to this island. But Raptor Jesus must have been looking out for them, because the water that separated these hungry hoverboards from the island began to recede. The water pulled back what looked like for miles, revealing the land underneath its shores. The Trikes take it that their answers from Raptor Jesus have been heard and begin to hastily make their way across this newly formed land bridge, all of them but one. This Trike has a sneaky suspicion that something isn't right about the scenario that has just presented itself before them, and you know something? He was right. This oasis of food and water was not a gift from Raptor Jesus, but a trap set by the Spino Devil. You see, it's a well-known fact, or at least it should be, that when water recedes at any interval, it comes crashing back in the form of waves, depending on the kinetic energy driving it. We usually see this type of activity at beaches. These type of waves are called spilling waves. They are gentle waves that break when the ocean floor has a gradual slope, like at the coastlines such as Miami Beach or Santa Monica, just to name a few places. Waves are generated by the activity of the ocean floor, or a majority of time, wind intensity, which is why before a big storm like a hurricane hits, the waves seem to swell and crash against land almost monstrously because of the monstrous winds driving them. However, in rarer occasions, waves are generated by more kinetic forces from the earth itself, like huge rocks falling into the water or the moving of tectonic plates. In both cases are known to produce large waves known as tsunamis. In the case of tectonic plates, which happens every now and then, even in our time, causes tsunamis when the plates meet and one plate is forced to dip under the other. The result of this sudden shift is a large force of energy that shoots out, forcing massive quantities of water to rise to the surface, thus creating said tsunami. Tsunamis can be spawned in a multitude of ways beyond tectonic plates like underwater volcanoes and of course asteroids. However, in this movie, the cause is a bit sneakier. You see, the earthquake that rippled through the planet from Chicxulub's initial impact caused certain elements of the Earth's crust to become unstable, no longer being able to sustain its previous integrity. On the shores of British Columbia, the result of said impact caused the sedimentary rock beneath it to give way and collapse into the ocean floor. This causes the sea level to plunge and the rest of it to swell, creating the receding coastline the trike saw earlier. The trikes make it to the island only to get a front row seat to a mega tsunami that envelops them and most of the island. Well, at least they died doing what they love, right? You know, here I like that both the trike and the Coronosaurus had this sixth sense to just stay back and wait. Like if their friends were okay within the next 5 to 10 minutes, then they would go join them, only for something catastrophic to happen to them and for the dinosaurs to have this "I knew it" look. As incoincidental as it seems, I found it rather amusing as it gave these dinosaurs some personality, however little it may have been. There were a lot of other scenes that I liked too that I didn't cover in detail to save some time, like the Rex outrunning the forest fire and the Sauronorthoides that dies after trying to attack the Coronosaurus, or even the Quetzalcoatlus that failed to escape the hellfire of the ejecta cloud. They were all simple but powerful scenes. The only reason I didn't talk about them was because there was another scene I liked a lot more. Okay, now stop me if you all heard this before. A trike and an Anki walk into a bar together and... Huh? Oh, you've all heard that one already. Well, damn. On with the review, I guess. So this scene starts with Anki scrounging for food after what's been about 40 days, or a little over a month. This Anki is just minding its own business, not bothering a soul, when a trike walks up and is ready to pick a fight with it over this baby bush. As these two begin to square off, another competitor throws his hat into the ring, Tyrannosaurus Rex, who, unlike the two hoverboards, has been gorging itself on whatever it can find/kill. It goes after the trike and grabs onto its horns as the trike tries to get some space between itself and the Rex, only for its horn to break in the process. However, this was a result neither animal was expecting, as the left horn pierces through the Rex's eye, blinding it. Driven on by gluttony, it continues after the trike and grabs it by the neck and kills it. Now you'd think, after doing so, it would be satisfied that it has another meal. Nope. It goes after the Ankylosaurus next. Now you see why I said it was driven by gluttony. The Anki tries to defend itself, but due to the lack of energy it has from not being able to eat proper amounts of the food it needed, it can't even drive off the carnivore when it strikes him with its tail club. So, the Rex adds it to the menu by properly flipping it over and tearing out its neck. Jeez, this Rex has a thing for necks. Must be some type of vampirosaur. Get it? Because it keeps biting them on the neck?
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, okay, I'll stop. I'll leave the puns to Dino. Still, karma has a way of coming back on you even for a dinosaur, and the Rex, with its one good eye, fails to see the Anki's tail club and stumbles right over it, causing it to fall right onto the dead trike's horn. Let this be a lesson to you all about letting your stomach write a check your mouth can't cash. The documentary ends with the hatching of a baby Alamosaurus whose egg was sheltered from the devastation by the mound of earth it laid in. The documentary goes on to say that baby dinosaurs that miraculously survived the end of the world will go on to try and start over, but will all die out due to the changing environment, disease, and inbreeding, thus bringing their glorious era to an end. So, overall, what do I think? I thought it was pretty good. There were some questionable moments, like the Alamosaurus egg surviving earthquakes that which of the planet has never seen up at that point, and tiny dinosaurs like Sauronorthoides being able to take down Coronosaurus when there were only 2 of them. That left me scratching my head. But regardless, I think that the dinosaur models were great, even though I wish they had did something to make the Coronosaurus look a bit different from Parasaurolophus. The effects weren't bad either. While there were some that were obviously better than others, I enjoyed it for what it was. A look into the lives of the dinosaurs after D-Day had arrived, and I encourage those who haven't seen it to give it a look over. There's a link down below, and hey, it'll give us something to talk about in the comment section down below. I hope you all enjoyed my little review, and if so, feel free to leave me a like so I know to review more dinosaur related content in the future. And as always, everybody, I appreciate it if you all do me these tiny little favors. Stay safe, wear your face mask, practice social distancing, and stay positive, because positivity will always outweigh the negativity. And I'll be catching you all later. Peace out, everyone.